Girl, I think y'all need to grab a seat for this one because this tea is straight off the kettle. So fans are dragging Cuba Gooding Jr. for clout chasing with his tribute to Malcolm Jamal Warner after news broke that the pair allegedly were not on good terms before he passed on after Cuba allegedly tried to pimp Malcolm Jamal Warner to Diddy. Well, Cuba Gooding Jr. has finally broken his silence, and y'all, not only did he admit that he and Malcolm weren't exactly cool before his passing, but he also dropped some never-before-heard tea about Malcolm's dealings with Diddy and a few powerful Hollywood execs whose advances he flat out rejected. And y'all, this tea is wild, so grab a seat and let me take y'all through this mess. For context, hours after the heartbreaking news broke that Malcolm Jamal had drowned on a beach in Costa Rica while on holiday with his wife and daughter, fans and celebrities flooded social media with tributes. But it didn't take long before folks started side-eyeing the official story. According to Legacy Media, Malcolm drowned while trying to save his daughter. But that's not adding up for a lot of people. I mean, this is Malcolm we're talking about. He wasn't the type to put his little girl in danger, especially not on a beach with almost no funding, deadly riptides, and only volunteer lifeguards keeping watch. Things got more complicated when the Costa Rican Judicial Investigation Department released a statement, which reads that Mr. Warner was playing with his daughter at the seashore at one point. He then left her out of the water, and he and a friend of his entered the sea. It was at that moment that they were swept away by the current, and the friend managed to get out. However, Mr. Warner was unable to get out and was pulled out by several people on the beach. He received care from Red Cross officials, but was pronounced dead at the scene.
That are deceiving.
Mike Geist helps run a volunteer lifeguard organization here. He says while no lifeguards were on duty that day, Geist's friend, who happens to be a trained lifeguard, was there to surf and discovered Warner unresponsive in the water.
You know, the first thing that they do is they bring him to the surface and give the emergency respirations.
Right there
In the water on the surfboard. And when he didn't respond to that, my friend rapidly took him into the beach and they immediately began CPR.
Here's where things get even more eyebrow-raising. The news statement from the Costa Rican authorities now claims that Malcolm was pulled from the water by several people who were already on the beach. And get this, there just happened to be not one, not two, but 3 tourists who were doctors right there at the scene. So there were talks about some foul play and how Malcolm Jamal drowned. Now, while fans and celebrities continue to pay tribute to Malcolm Jamal for the wonderful life he lived, Cuba Gooding Jr. paid tribute to Malcolm Jamal in a statement to People's Magazine. It reads, Malcolm was not only a gifted actor who I was honored to have co-starred in the film Tuskegee Airmen with, as well as have him play Al Cowlings to my old for Ryan Murphy, but more importantly, he was a dear friend and neighbor to me when I was just starting a family all those many years ago, he recalled. I will miss his larger-than-life laugh, which was indicative of the explosive energy he exuded to everyone around him. Gone too soon. Love you, brother. However, it didn't take long before Cuba Gooding's tribute to cause a stir on the internet, because right after the tribute dropped on People's Magazine, word began going around that the tribute was some sort of damage control to keep the internet from dragging him for staying quiet, word is. Cuba wasn't exactly heartbroken over Malcolm's passing because their friendship ended years ago. And y'all, not only did industry insiders confirm the news of Cuba Gooding Jr. and Malcolm Jamal's fall off, but they are also reporting that it had something to do with Diddy. Now, according to an industry insider, the real reason Malcolm Jamal and Cuba Gooding fell out is messy. Word is, things went completely left after Cuba allegedly tried setting Malcolm up with Diddy. Now, the source says Diddy had some, let's just say, very specific intentions and figured the easiest way to make it happen was through Cuba since he was tight with both men. But when Cuba brought that proposition to Malcolm, he was highly insulted, and that, my loves, was the final nail in their friendship. The source revealed that Malcolm Jamal kept receipts of Diddy and Cuba Gooding's approach to him and sent strong words to both Diddy and Cuba Gooding that if they make any further requests to wanting his butthole, he was going to put everything on the internet, even though Malcolm did not put out receipts exposing Cuba Gooding and Diddy for being on the DL. Different lawsuits have implicated Cuba Gooding for not only participating in Diddy's freak-off parties, but also being on the DL like Diddy. Fans got a glimpse of what Cuba Gooding was behind the scenes when music producer Lil Rod Jones filed a lawsuit against Diddy. According to the music producer, Diddy tried tried to pass him to Cuba on one of their trips to the Virgin Island, he revealed that while they were on Diddy's yacht, Diddy introduced him to Cuba and left them alone in a studio. On Diddy's yacht, Lil Rod revealed that Cuba began touching, groping, and fondling Mr. Jones's legs, his upper inner thighs near his groin, the small of his back near his buttocks, and his shoulders. He revealed that he was extremely uncomfortable and proceeded to lean away from Mr. Gooding Jr. He rejected his advances, and Mr. Gooding Jr. did not stop until Mr. Jones forcibly pushed him away. And let's not act like this is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s first brush with scandal. This man's rap sheet with SA allegations goes back. He was actually taken to court for allegedly violating 3 different women at Manhattan night spots in 2018 and 2019. So yeah, it's pretty clear Cuba has a serious problem with understanding the word consent, and honestly, that's a big part of why his friendship with Malcolm Jamal ended in the first place. Now here's where it gets even messier. According to the source, Diddy allegedly offered Malcolm a huge sum of money for something, let's just say, highly inappropriate. But y'all know Malcolm, he was one of the rare men in Hollywood who still carried himself with self-respect. And if you think Diddy was the type to just walk away after a rejection, think again. Remember when Cat Williams spilled on Club Shay Shay how Diddy offered him $50 million for his booty hole? Yeah, Diddy's not shy about circling back. So if Cat could be offered $50 million, best believe Malcolm was probably offered something in that ballpark, but the man chose dignity over the dollar. But that's not all, because according to inside sources, Diddy and Cuba Gooding weren't the only ones trying to make those shady offers to Malcolm Jamal. Word is disgraced Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein also slid in with a proposition offering Malcolm a lead movie role in exchange for, well, getting down with him. And just like before, Malcolm shut it all the way down. He turned down everything they threw at him, whether it was the casting couch, wearing a dress just to get a big role, or taking parts that had him cosplaying characters harmful to the black community and the kids watching at home. This man stood his ground every single time. It's not hard to see why Cuba Gooding, Diddy, Harvey Weinstein, or anyone else who wanted a DL relationship with Malcolm Jamal failed. Because while a lot of celebrities in Hollywood were closet DL, Malcolm Jamal stood for something, rejected such approaches, stood his ground, had good morals. He wasn't you, your regular black actor. He has on many instances refused to wear the dress, stood up against any form of humiliation ritual, and has decided to remain active in Hollywood on his own terms.
You don't necessarily want to a black man. What you want to do is you want to love him so divinely. You want to love him so fiercely that your disappointment will kill him. You want to adore him so much that the last thing he wants to do is disappoint you. Like, that's how the album opens. Wow. So this is an album.
Let's not also forget his podcast, Not All Hood, where he didn't hold back. Malcolm regularly spoke out about how Hollywood and the media lump all black people into the same tired box, recycling the same damaging stereotypes over and over again.
And the reason for the title is combating the narrative of black life, black culture that the media focuses on. And
that we're all one thing.
Yeah, and the whole concept is, we're not all hood. The black community is not a monolith. There's so many levels and lanes to the black community, and we wanted to have a space where we could acknowledge, discuss all of those lanes, because they're so varied in terms of our perspectives and our opinions and our ways of life. And we wanted to be able to have a place where we can talk.
Malcolm also had some very real things to say about modern hip hop.
Unfortunately, the success of hip hop is predicated upon being anti-black. The messages in hip hop that get the exposure are misogyny, murder, and disrespect of fellow black people.
He openly criticized how toxic and destructive the genre had become, calling out the misogyny, the glorification of violence, and the lack of emotional accountability. He wasn't trying to hate. He was calling for healing, for growth, for the community to do better. But of course, that's exactly the kind of message major record labels want to bury, because let's face it, they make millions off division, dysfunction, and chaos in the culture. Cuba Gooding Jr. leaking how Malcolm Jamal Warner refused Diddy's advances had fans talking, and they left comments saying, why do these folks wait so long to file complaints? Why do these folks keep hanging around these people? I'm confused as heck. If I see something strange or weird going on, I only need one time and I'm out. As Diddy goes down, all the celebs are coming out and pointing the finger at him. Why weren't any of them exposing him a decade ago? Cowards and pervs. It annoys me that people think these celebrities aren't capable of committing evil acts when everyday citizens do. The only difference is they have money to keep it secret for a while, but the truth always comes to light. So, do you think Cuba Gooding's tribute was personal, or do you think it was just a PR move to get fans off his neck? Let me know what you think in the comments, then check out this next video.